Republicans pin electoral hopes on tax cut delusions. If you hadn't noticed, things are not looking so great for Republicans. They face the midterm elections defined by a president with a record low approval. And they have seen one special election after another break towards the Democrats, and one incumbent after another calling it quits rather than face possible loss. Not to worry, Republicans have a secret weapon: tax cuts. They have them. The Democrats don't. By emphasizing what they have done on this front, Republicans hope to energize their base and divert attention from their travails. They plan to tout the 10-year $1.5 trillion tax cut they passed in December and possibly another passed this summer. They have run nearly 17,800 ads on tax reform, according to a USA Today analysis. This approach will fail for a variety of reasons, mostly because Americans are too cynical about government to get excited by an act of Congress. Democrats know this from Obamacare. It polled well with their base, and better than the GOP tax cut with the public at large now, yet they were slaughtered in 2010 like pigs headed to market. Republicans should also know about the difficulty of running on legislation. They were the ones who worked the other side of Obamacare so effectively. And they, more than Democrats, have defined themselves by promoting distrust in government. As President Reagan put it, "Government is not the solution to our problem, government is the problem." And yet here Republicans are, pushing this swell new tax cut law. More, Democrats should hit Trump policies, not Trump, to win Arizona special and the House. Paul Ryan and the GOP Congress should scale back Medicare and Social Security this year. Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren are all for state autonomy. When the GOP's in charge, they will argue that a tax cut is different from other acts of Congress as it returns money to the people. But that's a tough sell when trust in government is in the high teens, down from the high 70s in the 1950s. It's also a tough sell when the tax law itself is not an easily explainable measure but a colossus of social, economic and political engineering. Among its losers are people who live in generally democratic places with high state income taxes. Thanks to the new law, they are limited in their ability to deduct those taxes on their federal returns. This limit might make economic sense, and it surely gave Republicans satisfaction to pass, but its politics don't look very smart right now. Democrats could get the 23 seats they need for a House majority just from a handful of blue states such as California, New York and New Jersey, where the tax bill is wildly unpopular. A recent Monmouth University poll in New Jersey, for example, was so pessimistic about the GOP that handicappers have begun to entertain the idea that all 5 Republican House seats there could fall to the Democrats. The Senate does not appear to be as big of a problem for the GOP. Most of the competitive races are in relatively low-tax red states. But there are a couple of relatively high-tax swing states, Wisconsin and Ohio, where Republicans entertain some hopes of knocking off Democratic incumbents. As far as the tax law's winners, it's hard to see a lot of political gain. This group includes large shareholders of public corporations, passive investors in private companies and heirs to large estates. They likely would have shown up to vote Republican anyway. Overall, polls don't show much evidence of motivated tax winners lining up to vote. Around when it was passed in December, the bill had an average approval rating of just 32%, according to the poll-watching website 538. That makes it the least popular major tax legislation going back at least as far as 1981, less popular even than the tax hikes passed in the early 90s. To the Republicans, early 2018 was good to their tax law, with its poll numbers rising. But in recent days, it has drifted lower again. An NBC News, Wall Street Journal poll this month showed it with 27% approval and 36% disapproval. Gallup has it at 39% approval and 52% disapproval. With a highly unpopular president and a string of troubling special elections to think about, Republicans are looking for a plan. They may be the only ones who think they have one. Dan Carney is a USA Today editorial writer. Follow him on Twitter, @DanCarney301.